What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 3 of Card Art Explained. Happy to have you back with us. This time, we're going to have a special one-segment episode. I'm going to be talking with Marvelously Sketched, art collector extraordinaire, and we're going to focus on working an art convention like OAX and how to make sure you're getting the most out of a show like this, how to work the convention ahead of time with all the pre-orders, talking to artists ahead of time, making arrangements when you're at the show. How do you do things at the show, like handling the free sketch events, trying to divide and conquer maybe with some of your friends. Matt really killed it at the last OAX, and he's going to give a lot of tips on how you can make sure that you really take full advantage of a show like this. So without further ado, we're going to jump right over to my interview, and we'll see you there. Thanks, Matt. I guess I'll introduce myself. Here we are for this new segment on CAX episode 3. I'm here with Marvelously Sketched, Matt, who I've known for a while, and I had the pleasure of meeting finally face-to-face at the last OAX. And when I look back at OAX, there are a few things that stand out. Number one, obviously, being the stolen shoe incidents. But number two being, I remember there was a group of us just sitting there, and you kind of casually walked over to the table and sat down and said, "Hey, and everybody want to see what I got?" And we had this parade of just endless, amazing piece after piece after piece. And I think I got to the end of the show, and I think I ended up with 3 pieces. Now, granted, I was working the show a little bit, and I had a booth, but to sort of see everything that you were able to accomplish, we were all just blown away. And that was sort of what gave birth to this concept of, we really need to have you sort of dissect what you did and teach us, because you really took collecting art to the next level. So I've babbled enough. Why don't you kind of give us an overview of, what you were thinking going into all this, and let's run from there and see where we go.
You got it, Matt. And thanks for having me on. And it was awesome finally getting to meet you at OAX and everybody else. So I was really excited about OAX to be able to actually see artists in person. My history with it going back is New York Comic Con, and Jersey has a lot of local events. There's also ZapCon. And at a lot of these places, there's an artist alley or local artists, or even now ZapCon does sketch cards themselves. So I've always had a plan of execution to go to a convention because I collect things. I've kind of migrated over the years on what I've collected, and my basement's just overflowing with totes of different things through my stages. But through those stages, I learned a lot. And I would have to credit it to my local con, which is New York Comic Con. So I would always plan to go with my girlfriend or my son on a Thursday, the day they open. And then through that, I was able to learn mistakes and learn from all of the things. So I believe going to OAX and prepping for it, one of the main excitements was community. I mean, we've all talked to each other. We've all done streams together to finally see each other. So that was great. But the focus of me, I've always liked sketch cards. I love art. To see a sketch that's a one of one, but it's actually art. It came from somebody's, time, their mind, their creation. Most of the time, it just comes straight up to it and puts it on a card, depending on the sizes. And it's beautiful. I love card art. I'm really starting to try to get into that as I'm getting older. It's always been a little too far out of grasp. But at a convention, you can meet an artist, you can step up to their table, or you could have previously communicated with them, and you can get a piece of art of your own that way. And it's affordable. And depending on how long you're into it and the artists that you find, you can really find some amazing pieces. So when it came to OAX, because I believe that's what we should focus on, because that's really how I went, all the knowledge I've accumulated through everyone, even some people in the community I can attribute things to. So pre-commissions was huge. So if you want to know a convention, you need to follow the socials. Comic Art Fans is awesome. Bill Castra, everyone on who does the lives is very informative. You go, you listen, you watch the show, and you're gonna find out the day it opens, the day that you can schedule your hotel, and then through that, then you keep following up, and then you see, all right, here's the show floor, here's the layout. As artists start getting added, just keep checking out. My thing was I would check in on a Monday and a Thursday on the website. The website, amazing. Top notch for a convention for exactly what we're into. And we're into art or sketches, commissions from artists that we love in the community or have grown to love over our collecting years. So I went into it following all of Comic Art Fans, watching the lives, listening to Castra's, following his Instagram posts or Facebook comments in our groups, Marvel Card and DC Trading Cards, MCCW, and the Hobby Hangout. So those are some great groups to get great information from. Spidey Hits Discord. There's amazing people that don't actually have social media, meaning Instagram or Facebook, but they have a Discord. Great information you gather from there. So you want to kind of plan it out yourself. You want to come up with a game plan. And again, you want this to be fun. You don't want this to be a chore. You don't want this to be homework. I enjoy the tedious little updates that I'll get or information that I'll pull. And remember, you want to follow Instagram, Facebook, even Whatnot. Sometimes we have artists that jump on as guests on some of the, some of our favorite breakers, and they'll jump on, and in the middle, that's how they'll announce that they're on. Or even more exclusive is they'll announce their slots as a you purchase them or win them at that break. So one of the artists that I was following, that's how he did his slots. And so you really got to focus on prep for the show. And the show, their media, social media, is always on par. It's very informative. They post it across different platforms. So it's multiple people telling you information. So regardless if you're following one or all of them, you're going to get the info. So that's definitely something you want to do. Now, when it comes to the artists, it depends on, your style. Everyone's different. I couldn't tell you who you should choose. I could tell you some of my favorite artists. Are they at OAX? If they're not going to be this year, they'll probably be at the following year. It's really becoming hot and popular, and I'm noticing that the art gallery groups are sometimes rotating artists, so everyone can come and get opportunities. So that's something you want to follow. Some of my favorite, TD Art Gallery, Next Comic Art, some of the favorite artists are throughout those groups, and they're pulling in artists all the time. So you definitely want to follow these socials. When you pick your artist, obviously it's an artist that's going to be at the show. So when you pick your artist, the way I went about it, some artists, I didn't know their names. I've never met them. I've never seen their work. I actually had to look them up. Or another great feature of the website was that you can actually click on the artist in the pre-commissions. Huge, huge, huge. I couldn't say enough how great the pre-commissions tab in the OAX website was. That's basically how I got everything. And if I didn't get it there because of like a Whatnot break or something, we'll get into how I actually was able to score what I was looking for. So getting back to selecting your artists, you need to go back to like the show floor see where they're going to be. One of the huge things that threw me at the show, I was aware of it, but I didn't understand like actually how many artists were going to be involved, and couldn't be grateful enough, was the free sketch event. I hope that goes on. To the artists that were involved, you are so appreciated, because that made the show. Especially for, like, I saw kids in line that were super excited to get a sketch. In some cases, more excited than me, and that's what it's about. That's what it's all about. Like, everyone's there. We're all. I saw amazing sketches being done in 5, 10, 15 minutes next to me, in front of me, and it just made me more excited to be a part of it. And I will tell you right now that someone may say, "Oh, why would an artist take time out of the free sketch event?" Almost all of the artists that I got free sketches from, I got a commission from, either directly at the show, communicated, or within a month of the ending of the show. So it's something that is just great. It's amazing. It's the community. So my main approach, as I said, was planning it all. Getting to the show was one of the coolest things I can ever take part of. No joke, because the layout, the atmosphere, everyone around you, you had room to breathe. Your elbows, they weren't cramped in walking around. You were actually able to approach an artist at the table, have a conversation with them. Even if there was 10 or 5 more people standing around, everyone was almost taking a part in conversations. And one of the things I saw, getting to like how I didn't win the whatnot break for a slot, that artist, day one, was just hanging out at his booth. He was working on a commission. I approached. We had a great conversation. I told him the work I appreciated, where I saw it from, the comics. And I said, "Hey, by any chance, do you have any room to do a commission throughout the next 2 days?" He said yes. And I was super excited about it. And he not only did he do it within the next day, it was one of the most favorite conversations, interactions. And I'll show that real quick, just so you can see. Joshua Cassara is the artist, and he nailed it. And what was great is I was able to have that one-to-one conversation with him about getting the art. And then the next day when I picked it up, we had another great conversation about how he did it. And he was sitting in his hotel room. He went on it. And then, the flower he added. And he was like, you know what? He didn't do the eyes red at first. And by the time he finished it, he was like, I needed to finish. I needed to put the red eyes. And he added it to the mushroom. So amazing work. So here's another perfect example of when I looked at the pre-commissions and saw the artists involved, I automatically knew I wanted Joshua to do Man-Thing for me. His art style, and there was a few other artists that way. Jonathan Wayshak, he did a sketch for me, not a free sketch. Well, he also did a free sketch event for me, but he did a commission off of a pre-commissions through the OAX website of Man-Thing. And I knew, I was like, I need that artist to do a Man-Thing. I wanted to get a larger piece, so I had to here we'll go into that. So one of the things you need to juggle is how much money you're willing to spend. I should have brought that up a little earlier, but we'll here we go. So you need to know how much money you want to spend and save. I can't emphasize that enough. I literally put like $10 here, $5 there, $20 here. I just put it to the side. There were a few sketches that I really wanted to buy when I saw it on eBay that I passed up because I was like, nah, I'd rather get a commission. So I put it away. So save. You have plenty of notification to up to the show to save. I know, costs can be there, but know in advance, I want to save. And you need to, if you're going to do this, you need to save ahead of time because the pre-commissions open before the show. So don't plan to save an X amount of money for the show to get commissions. If you're going for the pre-commissions, which I highly suggest, you want to be able to save money before the pre-commissions open while you're planning and watching all the socials. So you need to decide sizes. That was a big part of the planning, was negotiating with myself on, do I want a sketch card from this artist? Do I, and they had various sizes. Do you want an A3, an A4, 11 by 17? They had 8 by 10s. So artists varied. So you want to be able to judge out what you want, and that all comes with the planning. If you're going to want a larger piece, it's going to be more expensive than a sketch card. If you want the sketch card, great. It was great pricing from even well-known artists. So you just have to make sure that you save. If you go into this and you don't save, you're gonna let yourself down and kick yourself and be like, I should have put away here. I could have did this instead of that.
Or even worse, you're going to go into debt to cover it.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
That's a whole other episode we could talk about.
Yeah,
right?
because again, like we said before, you want this to be fun. You want to enjoy yourself. You want to have a good time. You don't want to go into the show in debt, and that it might ruin your whole experience of venturing off into the show floor and seeing artists, and you're not going to be able to grab something there. So yeah, you just want to plan. When it comes to the planning, just save. Save where you can. If you don't want larger pieces, the sketch prices were varied between $100 to $150, some $200, but average was $100 to $150. Again, you just need to be looking at the website for when the pre-commissions open, because those fill fast. They don't sell out immediately like Topps products, but they do fill up quickly. So you definitely want to go into that with a pretty straight head on what you want to do. I picked a bunch of artists. Jonathan Wayshak. I wrote them all down so I wouldn't forget. Jim Jimenez was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had with, forget artist, a human being. He was joyful. His energy was through the roof. He was as excited to show me the art that I was excited to see the art. And that's a commission I will always remember. Was just that experience, was the communique. And a bunch of these guys, they're not near here. They're far away. They're in other countries, in other hemispheres. So to be able to get to see these people in person, and to get a piece of their art that you didn't have to fight over, or on eBay, or pay crazy amounts of money for, you can get something critiqued to the way you want. And I love that. But like I said, the artists that I picked, that I got amazing art from through commissions, was, and I'll switch over so we can see them here. You see the Joshua Cassara, and that was a beautiful piece. And then I will switch over. So Bart Sears.
Nice.
He did a Man Thing for me. It was beautiful work. He was cool to talk to in person. Awesome experience. He was super happy to do this. Looking back on it, you always get hindsight. I'm like, I should have told him to do the eyes red. But actually, I really liked the way he did the eyes. He put more detail in them that you normally ever would see. So I enjoyed that. I really liked the way he did his ink. It's a beautiful piece. And He did.
You have a character who works so well with bold ink styles,
Yes.
and I think that's what I noticed with a lot of these artists you pick. Their inking style is just the perfect complement
Yes.
to Man Thing as a character.
And I think that's a perfect point that you made is I love inks. I mean, some of the artists who did the free sketches, I actually prefer their inking than to a colored sketch. Not to say that I wouldn't want a colored sketch from them, but their style, I just felt, I think this looks better black and white. And again, the way the character Man Thing just presents himself, whether it's a bust or a headshot or even a full body shot in a pose, the way the inks just pop, depending on the artist. And it goes from a thin to a bold, and he's got a lot of growth on him, or things. So it really makes it pop with it because of the shadowing effects. And Bart did another piece. He did for my son, so I'll pull it out. And this is Battle Beast from Invincible.
That's cool.
Yeah. And again, he was going to do black and white. And I was like, can you throw the blood in there? And he was like, yes. So that was really cool for him to do. I love this piece. And then going back to speaking of Jim Jimenez, this was the piece Jim was able to do for me. Absolutely beautiful.
It's just filthy.
Yeah, I love the way he's grabbing the ground. He's like ready to pop. He's going to get you. Beautiful detail work. You got to check out some of these guys and gals from Next Comic Art, because they're doing great art. I actually have commissions from Comic Art Live from a few of them coming, and I can't wait to see what they do.
I mean, and it's so subtle, like it isn't even part of the main piece, but that color gradient background, yes, the yellow to the orange to the blue to the purple, just makes that such a complete piece.
It really, and he didn't even have to do this. In his commission, it was just this. There was no background. And that was like another tier. So when he did this for me, I was like, oh, dude, that's it. Like you said, it's so subtle. It's just the way it blends. And I love the way the watercolors make him contrast. It pops. It really does. And the foreground to the background, it's beautiful. I'm a fan of watercolors.
Oh yeah, and that just screams. It makes it obvious this is a watercolor. Yes. I love that.
Yes, I like oils and acrylics. Especially certain artists can kill it. But so then this was the last piece of the bigger pieces. So I was very excited. But to post, I don't think I took it out, but just to mention, like I got a free sketch event from Herman Peralta, and I'll show that in contrast to this. But this was a piece that I commissioned through him after OAX that I just had to get him to do a larger piece for me. So the glare might be killing on this, so let me just try to pull it out.
Got a little peek of it there. I like that.
Dude, when this came, I couldn't believe it. I'm waiting on some frames. But this is, I couldn't believe it. Mark Hay was great working with at Splash Page Comic Art. Awesome. But yeah, Herman Peralta, amazing work. I couldn't be happier with the way this came out. But yeah, this wasn't at OAX or a pre-commission or anything, but I guess you could call this a post-commission, because I did get this due to the work he did at the show.
Oh man.
Just the bird.
Just the details on those leaves. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's crazy. I couldn't believe it. And just to show, I'll show the card he did at the free sketch event. Now I don't know who I got. I mean, obviously I picked Man Thing for Comic Art Fans Live. And when I was watching Bill do the first sketch event, reveals or whatever, Herman did do another man thing. So I was like, oh, I hope that one's mine, because I got 3 of them. So I was like, but then this was the free sketch that he did.
That's so good.
He did this in like 15 minutes, man. And due to this work, I was like, I want to get a commission from you. So that led to this. And this is probably one of the most crazy favorite pieces I have so far, that it's unparalleled. The detail. Yeah. It's amazing work. And again, I wouldn't have had that unless I got to meet him through the free sketch event, because I didn't get a commission from him through the pre-commissions. So you never know what you're going to get when you go to the show, or who you're going to meet, or what can come of it. So, just like I said, have fun, go into it expecting to meet people. And another point I'd like to make, one of my favorite artists, I wasn't able to get a commission from, but he was selling sketch cards at his booth. So that was something I was super excited to see. I definitely grabbed a bunch of them from Miles. It was Miles Wool was the artist. And he did a style on the sketch card stock for CAX, OAX, that I never expected to see him do. And I thought that was something pretty, how should I say, specialized in a way, because I was like, I love the way this looks, and to know that it's coming from such a top tier artist, I was like, you know what, I'm going to grab these. So he had Deadpool on the table first, so I purchased Deadpool, and it's beautiful work. Super excited with the way it looks. It came out. It's so subtle, and I walked away from his booth, and there was a Joker sitting there. And when I walked away, I looked to my girlfriend and I was like, I should have grabbed both. And she's like, you should probably grab both. You should go back, because it's not going to be there. And I was like, yeah, he looked really cool. So I went right back to the booth, and I grabbed the Joker from him as well. And then through that interactions, those 2 beautiful cards, I then went on a hunt to see if I'd be able to purchase any of the other cards that Miles did that some of the people got at OAX or bought from him. And I was able to get Spider-Gwen, which is another beautiful card he did. Yeah. And then I got a commission from him of Batgirl. And it's amazing the way he did it. It looks beautiful. And I also got a Man-Thing commission from him. Due to OAX, I got 2 Man-Thing commissions from Miles. One is a OAX sketch card in the same style as he did all the previous ones mentioned. And then the other is a 8x10 oil painting of Man-Thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
We're going to need to have that magically pop up on the screen here.
Well, I actually have it here, and I have not opened it yet. So
all right,
we can open that together, and we'll see what it looks like. Because again, that was directly correlated with the interactions that I met Miles, and I reached out to him right after the show, and he was actually kind enough to continue not even it was a week right after OAX, and he was like, I'll give you the price that I had at OAX for that size that I was doing at the show. So super grateful. One of my favorite artists that I got to meet in person. He was super cool to talk to. And that's another thing. Even if you're not getting commissions at the show, there's artists that just are there, and you can go up and talk to them. Show them the appreciation for the work, or your favorite comic art they've done, or inking or coloring or whatever they've done. Just show appreciation. Hey, it's great to see you at the show. I'm happy you're here. If I have time, I'd love, and maybe that's how you get into have that conversation about finding an open slot. Maybe somebody canceled or never showed up. or never replied in an email the 3 days before the show. So you never know. Don't be afraid to communicate and or ask questions. Now, another thing about the free sketch event, and I have to thank Matt and more than anyone, is I had probably like 3 or 4 of the sketch cards, cardstock. My girlfriend, she wasn't getting any of the sketches, so I was able to take her to because we did the VIP. And then I went to Matt and I was like, hey, Matt, by any chance, do you have any more cardstocks? He was like, yeah, I have a few. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. So due to Matt, solely, no joke, I was able to get multiple cards. But that was step 1 of the planning process, because you needed to know the time the show floor started, and it adjusted slightly. I think because the Julie Bell, Dan DeSantos interview went a little longer, but as soon as that was over, the free sketch event opened. So you had to make sure, again, that's where you knew about your planning, the layout of the floor, and what artists you wanted to get. When I was able to, grab as many of those sketch cards, blanks as I could from, friends, Matt, my girlfriend, taking hers, it was on. And it's only 90 minutes. I don't even know if it's going to be 90 minutes for year 3. I know they extended it from, I think, 60 minutes year 1, so it was 90 minutes year 2. But I believe year 3, Cosper said they were going to adjust it a little bit. So I'm excited to see what they do for this year, because no matter what, it's always been fun. So game time, it's race. It's time to go. So the layout of the floor, I basically zoned in on the artists that I wanted to see. There were 4 artists in all of this. There were 4 artists I couldn't get one from, because by the time I got to them, they were already full. So don't keep it moving. Keep it moving. Don't wait. Okay, you're full. All right, I'm going to go here. Line sizes didn't really matter too much, except for really famous artists. So if you want a really famous artist, you're going to sacrifice quantity for possibly quality.
Right.
So if that's your game, then you definitely want to do that. So like Dan DeSantos, David Finch, amazing artists. You needed to go to those lines at the ringer, at the bell. Bing, go. You waited in those lines. You were possibly in those lines for the entirety of the event.
Yep.
So you may only get 1 or 2 high quality. And I don't want to say, please don't take the words I'm saying by high quality to diminish any of the other artists, because their work is all beautiful. When I say high quality, I'm saying, I guess they're artists that at the moment of the time are hot. Everyone's going for it. Maybe the latest release.
Their brand or their star is up there at that moment, for sure.
So it's got to be what you decide. Do not expect to go into one of these lines and then be hitting the floor, because lists are going to fill up. Because sometimes some of the artists aren't going to do a 5 or 10 minute sketch. They're actually going to take a list and they're going to close that list, and then they're going to do those sketches throughout the next day. And then they're going to give those sketches to the people. Those are awesome outcome sketches for free. Again, so please show appreciation for any of the artists who are participating in the event. I hit as many as I could. This is actually how I discovered splash page comic art. I was never really into buying splash pages. I have multiple bins of comics, but I've never owned a splash page before. So when I walked up to their booth, I literally got 3 free sketches from three amazing artists in a row. Maxi Dallo did such a simple Man-Thing sketch. It was like a minute or a minute and a half, boop, 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 and it's awesome looking. No color, just think simple, beautiful. Kept it moving. Literally stayed at the same U bend for Splash Page Comic Art. And then Marriott was the next artist. He did an awesome watercolored Man-Thing. It's pretty groovy looking. You know, it's got its own style. And then right next to him was Herman Peralta. And again, that's where I discovered Herman's work. And I was like, oh my God, I never put it together that you were the artist who did Man-Thing, the R.L. Stine run. So I was like, oh, that's even better. So when I found that out, then I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy my first splash page, which I did. And it was Herman Peralta, Man-Thing number 3, page 6, and it's awesome looking. So you never know what you're going to run into. So again, I wouldn't have been able to buy that if I didn't have money saved for the show floor. So
that's an interesting aspect, right? Because it's not just saved for what you planned.
Yeah.
You've got to save for that unknown that came out of nowhere. Correct. And just grabbed you by the throat. That's amazing.
Yeah, which was the splash page, which was Miles Wool's sketch cards that he had. I had the opportunity. I kicked myself in the butt to this day, but day one, when the show floor opened, I was right there with me and Raj were standing right next to it. We walked right into Dan's booth and we looked right at the wall with the Velcro sketch cards. I had Wolverine in my hand and I just handed it to Raj. I was like, nah, I'm all right. I'm going to see what else I got for the show floor. I made that mistake. But now, was it a mistake? Because if I spent the amount of money that sketch card was, would have I had the money to buy Miles cards and the splash page? So it's never a hit and a miss. It's a hit into outfield, and you don't know if it's going to be a home run. So you're good. You're taking a chance, but you're probably, no matter what chance you're taking, it's a good chance. It's not going to be a bad benefit. I didn't see a single person leave the free sketch event upset about what they received. I can't emphasize that enough. Everybody left there with a smile on their face and couldn't believe the event that they just attended. It was the talk of the show for the rest of the time I was at OAX, regardless if we were at the hotel, the villa, hanging out at dinner somewhere. We were all talking about, that was crazy. So kudos to everyone involved, artists, production, the team at OAX, Card Art, Expo. So Matt's involved. So everyone involved. That I wouldn't have had that experience if it wasn't for the way the pre-planning went into the show. And another person that I got to say had a great video. It was just fun to watch. Hilariously was Justin's Spidey Hits, the year one's show when he was able to get a bunch of sketches. That was just a lot of fun to watch. He was running around back and forth. He was like, and I was like, that's exactly how it should be. It should be that fun. You should be happy with whatever you get. I mean, Jonathan Wayshak did a Rocket Raccoon for me at the free sketch event. It took him 15 or 20 seconds. I didn't even know what it was looking like because it was upside down. He was just doing it. It was quick with a marker and flipped it right over, handed to me. And I was like, oh my God, that's an awesome looking rocket. And it was so simple. It couldn't believe how awesome all of the different styles were that you would see throughout the event. So it goes into planning. It goes into community. It goes into financing with your savings. Even if you're putting in $5 here, $1 there, everyone's buying something. So decide whether or not that's something you want to buy now or that you could put off to a later time. Or like I said, I had to pass up some awesome Man-Thing sketches on eBay because I was like, you know what? I want to get some commissions from some artists. So with that said, I mean, it's all in your hands, really, for the show. It's all about having fun. It's all about planning, and it's all about getting to have an experience that you're not going to forget. Because I'm not going to forget some of the artists that I became friends with. I mean, I talked to them on Instagram or on Facebook or just straight up like, oh, and there are artists now that I'm continuing to get commissions from. PJ, I'm continuing to get commissions from.
Was he not just amazing?
Yeah, like he's awesome. So PJ did an amazing man thing for me, and I put in a little note. It's actually kind of my signature addition nowadays. I love raccoons. Oh, here's my cup. So got spaceships. So I'm like, hey, can you add a raccoon to Man Thing? You know, just in the foreground, in the background, on them, whatever. And PJ did this amazing Man Thing with a raccoon on his shoulder. And Miko. I don't know if you know who Miko is. He was from Pocahontas. Miko's the little raccoon.
Oh no, I was thinking of an artist. Oh, never mind. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
I don't know if you do. He was one of my favorite little creatures. I was like, oh man. And then we had raccoons by our house growing up. So it's like my favorite thing. So I always ask artists to do it. And PJ just nailed it. I was like, oh, this is amazing. So it was so cool to see an artist do that. So much so as I even have future plans if PJ returns for next year or 2026. I almost want to make it to where it's a slideshow of Man-Thing and this raccoon that he did. So, do like 3 sketches in motion or something. But yeah, I've literally got a commission coming out from him for a DC card. So I'm very excited. He showed me the pre-work that he did on that. And I can't even say, Tony Perna, amazing person, Elaine. They were a joy to meet in person. Me and my girlfriend got to hang out with them a lot. Spent a lot of time with them, and they were awesome. Tony's work is some of my favorite work throughout the years, and to get a Man Thing from him as a pre-commission was awesome. It was a bow on an awesome present. It was amazing. He added a Rocket Raccoon in the background for me. It's awesome looking. Couldn't be happier with it. To meet him and hang out with him was great. And Simone Di Maio, amazing sketch card. He did a Man Thing. It pops, the beautiful color. It's like a turquoise background that he did. It really, that was like his theme he was doing with his sketch cards. He did like a nice, cool color in the background with awesome art, and it just made it pop. So the Man Thing he did was amazing. Trying to think off the top of my head. I know, Christopher Uminga. He was out of the left park.
He's got such a great style.
Yes. I've met him at New York Comic Con multiple times throughout the years, and his wife. And when I saw both of them at New York Comic Con, the year, it was October before that, January. And I asked them, I was like, are you guys going to be at OAX? And at that moment, they were like, we believe we are. We're just not sure if we are, but we're going to. And I was like, dude, if you're going, and I want a commission. I definitely want. And I wanted a commission too from his wife, Chrissy, but she's very hard to get a commission. So I was like, at least Christopher was able to do it. So he did an amazing Rocket Raccoon and Man Thing for me. Great work. The Man Thing he did as a commission at the show. Again, I walked up to him, asked if there any openings for a commission, and he did. He did the Man Thing for me, and it is awesome, like horror style, and it looks great. It's one of a kind. I haven't seen a Man Thing done like it, so I love it. And then at the free sketch event, he did Rocket for me. And what's great, and Matt pointed out at the villa, is if you put the two cards right next to each other, Rocket's like smirking at Man Thing, and Man Thing's like looking at Rocket, and it's just they complement each other perfectly. It shows the spectrum of his work, his style. So I was very, very happy with that. Who else do I have? So Jim Jimenez did a free sketch for me at the free sketch event. He did Rocket Raccoon for me. It's awesome looking. It's black and white. He did a splash of the black watercolor in the background, and it's a side profile of Rocket, which just is so great looking, because usually it's the front face, but with the side, you got the snout, and it just really makes it pop. I couldn't be happier with that either. And then Tony, not only did he do the commission for me, he got swamped with free sketches at the show. When I mean swamped, Tony is a person who doesn't want to say no almost, and he's got such a big heart. So I literally watched him. I had to quit. I threw in the towel at like 1:30 in the morning, maybe 2. And him and Raj and a few other guys, they stayed up while Tony just kept it going. And I kept telling him, like, yo, bro, you got work tomorrow, technically. I was like, sleep, man. You're going to be dead on the floor. And he's like, no, I'm good. I'm going to push through. And he did. So props to him. But I was like,
well, he also did some during Lewis's live stream that Lewis auctioned off, if you remember.
Yeah.
And the look on his face on some of those, that was so good to see him getting that recognition.
It was great. And all of them were bangers. Like every single one he did was a banger. So after the show, like a day or two after the show, I reached out to him. I was like, hey, you got any time to do them now? And he did. So he did 2 for me. He did a Man Thing, and he did Rocket for me. And again, I actually prefer his inks. I'm not saying I don't want him to color it, but
you think he's a great inker.
Yeah, it's just the inks, it pops, and it makes it its own. It's its own style. I love the way it looks. Couldn't be happier with it. One of the awesome things that I saw after the show was comic art fans had a live that was being done by the EXP and Tom McDonald. And it was for a donations for a fallen officer. And Miles was actually the artist who donated some pieces. And Miles did a painted Spider-Man and Wolverine on OAX cardstock. And I was like, oh my God. Again, going back to like how I liked his style and I saw on his booth and everything, I was like, I gotta have those. So I purchased both of those specifically to add to my Miles Wool art collection from OAX.
And it is it's much easier to justify buying extra ones when it's for a good cause too, right?
Oh yeah, that was a great cause. Awesome stream. Everything, amazing art. Again, and that was through comic art fans. So you just always look out for those lives, because you never know what information you're going to find or what you're going to find to purchase. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. I know some things can be very expensive. Sometimes you see it and you're intimidated. I'm like, oh, I've seen stuff for like 30 grand on there or something. But you just filter out your price range.
And stick to it is the important thing. Filter it and stick with it.
That's it. That way you don't have to mess with it too bad.
So when talking about commissions that carry on after the show, you've got a little treat to share with us today, right?
I do have an amazing treat to share with you and everyone today. I've been putting it off to open it, and I'm very excited to look at it. This will be the first time I'm looking at it in person with everyone. I have seen a picture of it. Miles sent me a picture of it, and it looked amazing in the picture, so I can't wait to see what it looks like in person. And he did.
Your willpower is foreign to me. I don't know how you can possibly have an unopened package in front of you like that for more than 10 minutes.
Man. All right. I think I've had it. I got it before the Eric Grove painting. So probably like a month.
Wow.
Been holding on. I know. I had some things going on in the living room, and then I was trying to like fix my cameras and everything, and it got put off. And then you brought this up, and I was like, might be best to do this now with everybody. Why not?
Let's
So I'm going
see
to
it.
switch the camera over. All right. We're probably going to have to adjust the height a little bit here. So just work with me, everybody. Okay. So again, this is the big reveal. This is an art reveal, Miles Wall. It's a commission that I got directly right after OAX, due to OAX. And I'm excited. It's Man Thing. It's 8x10. And it's an oil painting. And then I also have a Man Thing OAX sketch that he did in his style of the cool style of the cards he was doing. So this is absolutely packaged safely. Thank you, Miles. Oh, excited.
Yeah, I have a few of Miles' oil painted sketches. I do not have a full size piece of his, so I'm really excited to see this here.
So that's actually the next thing on my to-do list is to get a sketch from him. If hopefully by then there's still those platinum sketches he's doing. He's taking the sketch card. It's not a sketch card. It's a regular card from platinum, and on the face of it, he's painting over it. And some of those are beautiful. Oh, he framed it for me. Oh, wow. Thanks, Miles. Thank you, brother. You framed it for me. That's awesome. Thought I'd have to frame it. Look at him go. I was being all safe here, thinking I was going to rip a painting. All right, so first things first, now that I got this all, we'll look at the card. This I'm excited to see. I love this style of the card he did, and it's funny because I did the Batgirl commission on this cardstock. He sent it to me, and I was like, why didn't I get Man Thing? But, oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, that's awesome, bro.
Yeah, that's very similar to his most recent, like his platinum sketches were oil, but when he did like sketches for Premiere 2019 and some sets around there, that was very much that sort of style right there.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
That's so good.
I love this style. I mean, his oils are amazing too, but I was like, dude, I really like these. I think they're simple, they're clean, they're great looking. So I'm so happy to add this to my collection.
Love that.
Thank you, Miles. All right.
Yeah, big treat.
A big reveal, right? Oh my God. Oh yeah. Oh my God. All right.
Oh man. Look at
Wow.
that thing.
Wow. China nut. I guess it's gonna reflect, right? Wow.
Yeah, unfortunately the ring light's there, but we'll make sure we get a nice picture after. We'll float over that. Oh, look at that right there.
Wow. Oh man, I love the fireflies.
Just the
magic
or white border around the top, just that lighting effect, so good.
Yeah, it's like the moon is right where the light is. Wow.
Oh, he killed it.
Amazing work, Miles.
Bravo, Miles. And congrats, Matt.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so happy to add that to my wall. Wow. Look at the eyes. The eyes look great, man. Green and blue are like my favorite colors. So like, that's just awesome. That's great. Wow.
There's always just those eyes, that splash of red. Just
it just makes it, you know. Wow. Thank you so much, Miles. That's awesome.
I would say when you look at the during the show haul and then add in all the stuff you picked up after, I mean, again, that's sort of why I wanted to talk to you and have you come on and do this. You just, you've showed that it's not just show up at the show and get stuff, right? There's pre planning, there's after show planning, and it really is just one continuous event where you're kind of executing on that plan from day one. That's so cool to see.
Let's see if it shows better here.
Oh god, yeah. Oh, look at that. Oh wow, and you really I didn't realize it, you couldn't tell how big it was before actually.
Yeah, it's 8 by 10.
That's awesome.
Yeah, look, this looks good, man. It looks even better on this camera. Wow. Wow. Thank
Love it.
you. Miles killed it. Yeah, I mean, thank you, Matt, for thinking of me. When you brought this up, I couldn't be happier with the way the outcome of the show went, and I'm already planning for 2026.
That's sort of where I was going to go with my final question.
Oh,
What have you started doing for the show? Is there
yeah.
anything you did before that you're abandoning in place of new stuff?
Great question.
Kind of all just learning from the past. And
Yeah, yeah. So this is the year where I'm gonna experiment a little.
all
Um,
right.
I'm gonna play around with a few ideas I have and see how they work out. My biggest situation this year, well, 2026 upcoming, is do I want since I so I call I called this Man Thing Madness. So I literally went into the show. I even told people, I was like, yeah, this is Man Thing Madness. It's all Man Thing. I'm just, I mean, that's who I collect. Um, it's, so I went into it hard. Sadly, Upper Deck no longer has the license, so I don't know the future of me getting Man Thing sketch cards. I have been seeing a lot of artists receiving these notifications to do sketch cards in upcoming tops
Yep. In
sets.
fact, just today I saw one who said it said working for Fanatics. So that
Yep.
was kind of cool to see.
Yeah, it's great to see. But the question is, are all of these going to be as rare as like platinum sketches or MM24 sketches? So it's like, that's great, you know what I mean? But what are the art directors actually going to be putting in boxes? So I hope I see some amazing new Man Things that come out with tops.
But you're right. Without the AP possibility, that's tough.
It's tough.
But on the flip side, I think a show like OAX, I think can help someone like me. I think I'm a good use case for OAX in that I have commissions. I don't have a ton. I would say maybe 1% of my collection is PSCs and not officially licensed stuff.
Same.
I am weird like that. But as the Marvel license changes now with fewer sketches, with no APs, I think that opens the door for someone like me to say, you know what, I need to revisit direct commissions. I mean, I've always done it. I've got thousands of APs, but it's always unofficial stock. So I think for me to be able to continue those relationships with artists, I need to be open to doing more stuff like on OAX stock or on MentalCon stock. And I think everything we've learned from OAX and with all the changes with Topps Fanatics, I think it's all lining up to really help. And maybe I'm just the weirdo, but
No.
To make it easier to accept. I hate to say that as a word, but in some ways I am a licensed snob. Let's just call it what it is. So to help someone like me get over that in order to keep those relationships with artists and keep getting that new art that I really do love. So I think hearing everything you did here and how positive experience it was for you, and how we're going to continue to bring more opportunities to collectors from OAX. I think this is fortuitous timing with all the changes on the license side.
I couldn't have said it better. That's exactly one of the things that I thought about, is that the border or that line in my mind of needing official license stock, or is it real, is going away. With that said, and you made the point, I kind of prefer to have a known card stock. So MentalCon, OAX, you're actually seeing a bunch of shows now, especially anything that Costa and the team are with. IC3 had card stock, I saw, and that's right. That was right here in Connecticut. That's not far from me. I plan on going to the next one. That's for sure. That'll be a fun new experience to meet up and coming artists, fringe artists, and get cool sketch from them. I think that'll be a fun little side venture I'm going to look into for next year. And I think that's like a month or two, maybe 2.5 months away from OAX, but up here, not down there. So
no, I remember, I knew it was coming, and again, I'm up in Boston, so it was just as easy for me to get there. And I honestly think I may have still been recovering from OAX.
Yeah, me too. I was like, I don't know. Yeah, I feel you. But a lot of shows are now having card stock. I saw an amazing artist did a sketch, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. What is that, a PSC? I was like, because I'm not. I'll buy, like my kids them. They're cool. I think I've bought them like back in the early 2000s at New York Comic Cons, because I didn't really necessarily know what a sketch card was back then, or anything. So it was like, cool sketch here and then cool sketch there. But it was, it's just on their, I don't even think most of them were on back then, were on cardstock. It was just a cut card.
Really just cut a piece of vellum into 2.5 by 3.5.
So it's great to see the evolution of the sketch being introduced into the show. I think OAX.
It helps someone like me get over that hoop, because it's not licensed, but what it does for me is it ties the sketch to the show and to that experience. And then the same way that, for whatever, having the licensed sketch card tickles that whole comic nostalgia for me and makes it seem quote unquote real, tying it to the specific show where we've got all those other memories, that really just elevates it to that same level for someone like me. So
yeah, and also on the flip side is when you mention it's on that cardstock, or someone sees that cardstock, it brings that up for them. Like, oh man, I remember that. That was great. Next year I'm going to get a sketch from that artist. I passed them up this year. And that was one of the things that I'm that I'm going to be implementing for 2026. There were a bunch of friends in the community who got art sketch in the free sketch event or commissions. And I didn't see that artist at that time of this hunt and planning as an artist that I was going to necessarily want a card or an 8x10 or anything from. And then after the show, I was like 100% on my list for next year, as long as they return. So, and a few are on my list. And that's kind of the planning that I have going into next year. Noticing artists that I haven't noticed before that may be on a list. I literally either mental note them. I have a notebook. I write artists down just to keep track of everything. That's one of the main things I did for tracking all of this. Was I literally had a notebook. I wrote down all of the artist's name. I put a check next to them. If I got a commission, I wrote down the size of the commission and if I paid them. If I paid them, it turned into a dark circle. And then I knew that artist was done. Can't wait to see what they do. And I kept that line moving down my list. And I was like, okay, here's the next artist. And then for artists that I knew I wasn't going to get a commission from, either because price points or they weren't on the pre-show commission list to be able to get that choice. I wrote them down as like free sketch event or talk about future commissions, card signing, because any of the artists you could have brought in a card that they did the art previously from a release set and they'd sign it for you there. So that's something also you want to keep in the back of your mind, not just all of this other stuff, is that the artists there are on previously released sets, officially sets. So bring some cards and do some research. That was a fun side project when I was done with all of my commission planning. Was just like, what cards can I bring for these artists to sign? Yeah, and that was a fun little prep. And again, all of this is meant to have fun. You're meant to have a good time. Don't stress yourself. Matt brought it up. Don't put yourself in a financial bind. Go into this prepared and know what you're able to do. Things happen. Emergencies happen. Not everything goes to plan. So just always, with life, just have a little breadbasket and keep adding to it. And if you can, pull from it to go to something that you really enjoy. I did make sacrifices. I won't deny it. I let up some sketches that I hope come around again one day. I'm sure they will. So I will keep an eye out for them. I believe I know where they reside, but so I will be on the lookout. But when it comes to the show, and this isn't just OAX. I see three. Any show, Heroes Con, you got wherever you are in the country, right? I mean, OAX was great to go to. I want to say, to me right now, that's my show for the year. Like that's where I'm going to be planning to be. Up until last year, it was always New York Comic Con. 3-4 days going, lots of money spent. But usually it was like, what memories do I have of those huge shows? I couldn't get around. Parking sucked. The lines were insane. Some artists weren't nice. They're that big. You couldn't go approach them. Or if you could, you had to pay to go into a line to get a picture with them or something. And I'm like, that was fun, but it's very commercialized. So to find OAX, CAX it's intimate. The community is beautiful. The artists are so great. I mean, like I said, to be involved in the free sketch event, you got to remember that ain't easy. I watched some of these artists have lines of like 20, 30 people. I tell you right now, I can only draw or write. I'm not a professional or anything with this, but I can only write or draw for so long before my hand starts to bother me. And I'm seeing them banging, like beautiful pieces coming out. Quick, simple, but beautiful pieces. I'm like, do they got to ice their hand at the end of the day? Like, what's going on with this? Like, so just seriously show appreciation. And know the artist that you're going to go into, what you're looking for. Planning is key. And that's all I could say really about that. Other than have fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, Matt, again, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and kind of your passion for this. Like it just shines through. Anybody who hasn't been to OAX and who sees this, if they don't want to, there's something wrong with them, right?
I definitely think it's something you like SDCC, San Diego Comic-Con. That's something I want to go to one day. So it's on my list. So if this isn't like something you're like, immediately into, I definitely recommend it's something you need to go to at least once to experience it. And I guarantee with utmost certainty that you're going to want to go the following year. That's how much fun it was.
Absolutely. And if you're not sure too, ask people who've been there. We as a community, I feel like we are pretty approachable, and I think we really look out for each other. And yeah, believe me, new people, we don't bite, ask us questions, get in. And because the more you get to know the people, the more you're going to get out of the show, right? Because when it's not just the artist, when you have network of people who there and you're having the fun just hanging out, it takes it to this whole another level. So can't recommend it enough.
I totally agree. To that point, like I was standing next to a friend and they showed me a free sketch. I ran to that line with 15 minutes left. Like, oh my God. And I wouldn't have got one of those sketches unless it was a friend in the community going, look at this banger. And I was like, oh my God, who did that? And I was like, boop, 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 ran right over there and I was able to get it. So yes, don't be afraid to ask questions. And that's with people in the community and with artists. You don't know if somebody backed out or if the artist put aside a certain amount of time and they were able to fly through it. And now they're kind of just hanging out and they're like, you know what? Yeah, I'll make a little extra money while I'm here. So don't be scared to ask questions.
Sure. Awesome. Well, hey, thank you for providing your time and sharing all this with the community. And we'll take it right back to the studio. Thanks, guys. Hey, welcome back to Studio 77B here in sunny Burbank, California, or wherever we actually are. Matt, Marvelously Sketched, thank you so much for going over OAX, how to work a convention. Super useful information. I hope people get a lot out of it. Hope a lot of people who haven't been to OAX before are now excited to go, and that a lot of people who have already been once or twice will be coming back for the third time. That's really going to be it. We're just doing a single issue topic this time. So we're going to wrap it up here. Again, thank you all for tuning in. Really appreciate you giving us your time and interest in the hobby here. And as always, stay tuned for the next episode. Come and check out all of the other channel videos we have going on here at CAF. Lots of fantastic stuff from people here. So always stay tuned in. Like, follow, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And remember, you guys are the GOAT. Can't do any of this without you. We will see you next time. Thanks, everybody.